Hey, so what you just saw is the culmination of a years-long project that I've been working on. A pretty simple project. The idea is just to build a musical instrument that's just like a harp, but instead of strings, it uses lasers, and here it is. This harp is the third in a series of 3 iterations that I did of working harps, and now that I have all the functionality that I wanted, I'm pretty satisfied with how it turned out. This is the harp from last year, and it has a couple of disadvantages to the more recent harp, but I want to show it to you to show what has changed. This harp was co-made by me and a friend named Luke, who did all the outsides and I did all the insides. So as you can see, it's really well designed. I mean, he's an excellent designer, a really smart kid. And it has a couple advantages over the new harp, like this really sweet mellow tone that it has, as well as this switch here, which allows you to recalibrate the harp if you switch light conditions, which I think is kind of nice. But it's missing a couple things that the new harp has. They both operate on the same basic principle, which is that when you fire a laser at a light-sensitive diode, you can measure whether or not the laser is blocked by just measuring the amount of light that enters the diode. Simple as that. I'm going to go over some of the advantages that this harp has over the previous version. The first one is that pitch bend is controlled by a joystick, which gives you a little bit more control. You can bend up to a whole step, but you could do anything in between. The previous version had this controlled by a button, which didn't give you as much power over how much it bent and how slow it bent, etc. This harp also has transposition options. So it starts in the key of C, but if you want to play a song in the key of G, you can transpose up by half steps at a time by pressing these left and right buttons. And if you want to reset and go back home, you press both of the buttons at the same time. Because the joystick has 2 axes, up, down, and left, right, I also allowed for octave control to be within the joystick. So if you want to move up or down an octave, you push the joystick to the left or the right. Like so. Something that's really exciting about this harp is that it has polyphony, which the previous harp didn't have. And you can only play up to 2 notes at the same time, but you can get a cool effect. You can get a cool harmony effect by playing up to 2 notes at the same time. That's really exciting if you ask me. It also has access to 3 modes. So right now, it starts off in major mode, but you can transition to minor mode, which is a tasteful harmonic minor that a friend suggested. And you can also go into pentatonic mode, which allows for you to access the pentatonic scale, which is super good for vamping or improvising. My favorite new feature of this harp is the fact that it has a jack right here, which allows you to plug it into a speaker if you wanted to perform live, but more excitingly, it allows you to plug it into an interface to connect to a DAW if you want to add reverb, delay, pitch control, stuff like that you can do with the computer. I tried really hard to incorporate MIDI functionality into the harp, because I think that would be really cool. Like, imagine if you could play it like a harp, but then it would make any sound that you could control, like a saxophone sound or a piano sound or a bass sound. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to figure out a way to get it to work with MIDI. As far as I can tell, there aren't any Arduinos that allow for MIDI support and also can play notes and also have as many pins as I needed to incorporate all of the electronics into the project. The jack ended up being a sort of compromise, and I'm satisfied with how it turned out, but I really wish I could have figured out MIDI at some point. Anyway, that's all that I wanted to talk about for the moment. Please leave a comment if you have any questions or if there's anything else that you'd like to know. I was considering providing some more information online so that somebody might be able to build one of these for themselves if they wanted. I can upload STLs for the print files or something like that. I hope you enjoyed. Please follow me everywhere, and good night.